أحسنوا منهم واتقوا أجر عظيم. الذين قال لهم الناس إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم فزادهم إيمانا وقالوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. فانقلبوا بنعمة من الله وفضل لم يمسسهم سوء واتبعوا رضوان الله والله ذو فضل عظيم. إنما ذلكم الشيطان يخوف أولياءه فلا تخافوهم وخافون إن كنتم مؤمنين. ولا يحزنك الذين يسارعون في الكفر إنهم لن يضروا الله شيئا يريد الله إلا يجعل لهم حظا في الآخرة ولهم عذاب عظيم. إن الذين اشتروا الكفر بالإيمان لن يضروا الله شيئا ولهم عذاب أليم. ولا يحسبن الذين كفروا إنما نملي لهم خير لأنفسهم إنما نملي لهم ليزدادوا إثما ولهم عذاب مهين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
MashaAllah. Thank you, Wasi, for that wonderful recitation of the Holy Quran. Salawat wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'd like to request Brother Ali to come up for Hadith Qissa. Salawat wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Salawat. In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate, Fatima Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet, peace be upon them, is to have thus related an event. My father, the Prophet of Allah, came to my house one day and said to me, "Peace be upon you, Fatima." I replied, "And upon you be peace." Then he said, "I feel a weakness in my body." I said, "Allah protects you from weakness, father." He said, "Fatima, please bring me the Yemeni cloak and cover me with it." So I brought the Yemeni cloak and covered him with it. Then I looked at him and saw that his face was shining like a full moon with its glory and splendor. After a while, my son Hussain came in and said, "Peace be upon you, mother." I replied, "And upon you be peace, O light of my eyes and the delight of my heart." He then said, "Mother, I smell a fragrance so sweet and is so pure as that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, your grandfather is lying underneath the cloak." Hussain went near the cloak and said, "Peace be upon you, my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you be peace, my son and the master of my fountain. You are given the permission to enter." So Hussain entered the cloak with him. After a while, my son Hussain came in and said, "Peace be upon you, mother." I replied, "And upon you be peace, O light of my eyes and the delight of my heart." He then said, "Mother, I smell a sweet fragrance like that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, your grandfather and your brother are lying underneath the cloak." Hussain stepped forward in the cloak and said, "Peace be upon you, my grandfather, the chosen of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my son and the interceder of my followers. You are given the permission to enter." So Hussain entered the cloak with them. After a while, Abul Hassan Ali bin Abi Talib came in and said, "Peace be upon you, O daughter of the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "And upon you be peace, O father of Hassan and the commander of the faithful." He then said, "Fatima, I smell a sweet fragrance like that of my brother, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, he is underneath the cloak with your two sons." So Ali went near the cloak and said, "Peace be upon you, Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you be peace, my brother, my legatee, my successor, and my standard bearer. You are given the permission to enter." So Ali entered the cloak with them. Then I stepped forward and said, "Peace be upon you, my father, O Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you be peace, my daughter, O part of myself. You are given the permission to enter." So I entered the cloak with them. Getting together underneath the cloak, my father, the Prophet of Allah, held the two ends of the cloak and raised his right hands towards the heavens and prayed, "O Allah, these are the people of my household, the Ahlul Bayt. They are my confidants and my supporters. Their flesh is my flesh, their blood is my blood. Whoever hurts them hurts me too. Whoever displeases them displeases me too. I am at war with those who are at war with them. I am at peace with those at peace with them. I am the enemy of their enemies, and I am the friend of their friends. They are from me and I am from them. O Allah, bestow your blessings, benevolence, forgiveness, and your pleasure upon me and upon them, and remove impurity from them and keep them thoroughly pure." Then the Lord Almighty Allah said, "O my angels, O residents of my heavens, verily I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for the love of these five lying underneath the cloak." Jibreel, the trusted angel, asked, Who are under the cloak?" The Almighty answered, "They are the household of the Prophet and the assets of prophethood. They are Fatima, her father, her husband, and her two sons." Jibreel said, "O Lord, may I fly to earth to be the sixth of them?" Allah replied, "Yes, you are given the permission." Jibreel the trusted landed near them and said, "Peace be on you, O Prophet of Allah." The All-Highest conveys his peace on you and his greetings and says, "By my honor and glory, O my angels, O residents of my heavens, verily I have not created the erected sky, the stretched moon, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for your sake and love, God has given me permission to enter the cloak with you. May I join you, O Prophet of Allah? The Prophet replied, and peace be upon you, O trusted bearer of Allah's revelations. You are granted the permission. So Jibreel entered the cloak with us and said to my father, Allah sends his revelations to you. Verily, Allah's desire is to remove blemish from you, O people of household, and purify you with a perfect purification. Then Ali said to my father, O Prophet of Allah, tell me, what significance has Allah given for getting together underneath this cloak? The Prophet replied, by him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of the mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, Allah will bestow on them His blessings and mercy. Angels will encircle them, asking Allah the remission of their sins until the assembly disperses. So Ali said, verily by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners. Then my father replied, by him who rightfully appointed me as a prophet and chose me as a messenger for the salvation of the mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, there shall remain none grieved, but Allah will move his grief. There shall remain none distressed, but Allah will dispel his distress. There shall remain none wish seeker, but Allah will grant his wish. Ali happily said, verily by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners and the blessed in this world and the next. Sadaqallahu al-Azim.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. MashaAllah, good job, Ali. Now I'd like to request Brother Zain Nawee to come up for a short salam. Salawat for Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
غریب زہرا کی غربت سنو اہل عزا، غریب زہرا کی غربت سنو اہل عزا، اکیلا رہ گیا، اکیلا رہ گیا مقتل میں جب میرا مولا، ارے سپاہ شام نے چاروں طرف سے گھیر لیا، لبے فرات تھا ہر ایک خون کا پیاسا، تھا غل چراغ امامت ابھی بجھانا ہے، زمیں پہ زین سے شبیر کو گرانا ہے، ارے یہ سن کے سنگ، ارے یہ سن کے سنگ کسی نے جبین پہ مارا، ارے کسی نے پہلو میں برچھی کا پھل اتار دیا، کسی نے سامنے آ کر چلائی تیغ جفا، غریب زہرا کزیں پر سنبھلنا مشکل تھا، علی و زہرا کو رن میں رلایا جاتا تھا، حسین گرتے نہیں تھے گرایا جاتا تھا، ہائے لگا جو تیر تو لگا جو تیر تو اصغر کو شہ نے یاد کیا، پکارا غازی کو جس وقت سر پہ گرز لگا، لگی جو برچھی تو اکبر کو دی تڑپ کے صدا، تماچا خولی نے مارا تو بولے یا زہرا، علی کو یاد کیا سر پہ ضرب چلتے ہوئے، حسن کو یاد کیا منہ سے خون گلتے ہوئے، ہائے زمیں پہ زین سے حضرات جو منہ کے بل لائے، جو تیر سینے میں تھے پشت سے نکل آئے، نکل کے پہلو سے، ارے نکل کے پہلو سے سب برچھیوں کے پھل آئے، قرار کس طرح اب شہر کو ایک پل آئے، ارے رقاب پیروں سے ابن علی کی چھوٹ گئیں، تمام پسلیاں سبتے نبی کی ٹوٹ گئیں، رقم کیا ہے یہ راوی نے درد کا منظر، کہ چلنے والا تھا جس دم حسین پر خنجر، بہن سے آگے کھڑی تھی حسین کی دختر، کہا یہ شمر سے اس دم غریب نے رو کر، ارے میری سکینہ کہیں دم نہ توڑ دے ظالم، تو رحم کر میرے بالوں کو چھوڑ دے ظالم، ہائے پڑا تھا دشت میں بے جان بطول کا بیٹا۔ عزاداروں یہ منظر تصور کیجئے، حسین زندہ ہیں کیا شمر سے کسی نے کہا، قریب جا کے یہ دی شمر نے پھر ہنس کے صدا، وہ دیکھو آ گئی مقتل میں ثانیہ زہرا، یہ سنتے ہی شاہ دلگیر اٹھ کے بیٹھ گئے، بہن کے نام پہ شبیر اٹھ کے بیٹھ گئے، ہائے حسین، یہ کہہ کے آگے بڑھا، ہاتھ میں لیے خنجر، ادھر تڑپنے لگی ایک لاش دریا پر، ادھر خیام سے نکلی بطول کی دختر، ادھر خیام سے نکلی بطول کی دختے عجیب بے ادبی شمر نے یہ کی آقے ارے ذرا سی بھی نہ ارے ذرا سی بھی نہ مروت دکھائی ظالم نے کلام پاک کو ٹھوکے لگائی ظالم نے ہائے عجب طرح سے ستم گئے یہ کر رہا تھا ستم کبھی حسین کی زلفوں میں ہاتھ تھے باہم پکڑ کے ریشے مبارک کبھی ہنسا ظلم ہٹایا بالوں کو خنجر سے شمر نے ایک دم ارے کہا حسین نے دیکھو ذرا علی اکبر لائن رکھ دیا زانو ہمارے سینے پر ہائے چلی جو ضرب تو فرشتوں نے منہ کو پھیر لیا فرشتے کیا تھے کہ نبیوں نے منہ کو پھیر لیا ہٹے نبی تو رسولوں نے منہ کو پھیر لیا چلے رسول تو ولیوں نے منہ کو پھیر لیا حسن رسول علی بولے اب خدا جانے حسین جانے گلا جانے فاطمہ جانے ہائے اب اس کے آگے تکلم بیان کیا ہوگا صلوات پڑھ دیجیے گا پر محمد وآل محمد
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد Thank you Zain صلوات پر محمد وآل محمد اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد Just a couple of quick announcements before we get started inshallah with the schedule for tomorrow inshallah at 4 a.m. we'll have a majlis and then after that 8:30 in the morning we'll have a ladies majlis the amal for Ashura will be at 10:30 a.m. Inshallah, after that, we'll have Sol Salam at 11:15. Sheikh Jalil will read the English Majlis at 12 p.m. sharp, inshallah. After that, we'll have Zohar Asar Salat. At 1:40, we'll have the Urdu Majlis. 5:30, inshallah, we'll have the Urdu Majlis at the graveyard, at the cemetery on Route 1. And back here at Idara-e-Jaferia at 9 p.m. for Salat al-Maghriban. And inshallah, Sheikh Jalil will also read Majlis after Salat al-Maghriban at Sham-e Ghariba at around 9:20ish. So Sheikh Jalil inshallah will be at 12 p.m. and again at 9:20 p.m. inshallah tomorrow. For those sisters who need extra room, there's plenty of space in the basement. Kindly take advantage of that with the young ones. Kindly put your cell phones on silent so we don't disturb the majlis as it's going on. Anyone who would like to help out in the nightly tabarruk, you can see Brother Ghulam Abbas, any of the board directors or myself, Sister Taysin, Sister Majibeen, we're happy to give you some more information in terms of making the contribution. Now, without further ado, I'd like to request Sheikh Jalil to take the member. Salawat wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدي وحبيبي ونور قلبي طب القلوب ودوائها وعافية الأبدان وشفائها ونور الأبصار وضيائها أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الهاديين المهديين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. صل على محمد وآل محمد. صلى الله عليك يا مولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي. صلى الله عليك وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين. يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين. One more time. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الحسين بن علي عليه السلام في دعائه المعروف: متى غبت حتى تحتاج إلى دليل يدل عليك، ومتى بعدت حتى تكون الآثار هي التي توصل إليك. أميت عين لا تراك عليها رقيبا، وخسرت صفقة عبد لم تجعل له من حبك نصيبا. صدق الإمام الحسين عليه السلام. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بالحسين عليه أفضل الصلاة والسلام. May the Almighty Allah grant all of you the greatest reward on the martyrdom anniversary of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. Tonight, our topic of discussion is pure tawheed in the eyes of Imam al-Hussain. when we talk about Tawheed, believing in oneness of God, which is the first and the most important pillar in Islam. Everything we have as a Muslims, prayers, fasting, Hajj, Zakat, the list goes on. All of those, the foundation that was built on is Tawheed. If a person comes Yawm al-Qiyamah, I have done everything in terms of what? I was kind to people. I gave charity. I took care of orphans. But I'm not carrying Tawheed. I don't believe in God. All that work is in vain. Everything that you do without Tawheed is in vain. That's why Tawheed is the root in our Aqidah as a Muslims. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in today, even though United States is built on Christianity, religion, but you see today, the nation slowly, they're getting away from religion. If you remember, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, when Christmas comes, people greet each other, Merry Christmas. That's how people greet each other. But did you see that today is no longer Merry Christmas? Today, how do people greet each other? Happy holidays. Why? Because slowly people are trying to avoid religion. Not only that, today as we get our children in the schools, universities, they are bombarded with so much. Where they started to question their religion. Is Islam a true religion? Does God exist? Why? Because there is a notion in the system that our children are being taught or said in their surrounding, and that is seeing is believing. You only believe when you see. If you don't see it, how can you believe it? So can you see God? No. So how can you believe there's a God? If you can't see something, then it doesn't make sense to believe that it exists. This is the notion. On top of that, there is a notion of Darwin, which talks about the entire world started from explosion. Nothing called God. There is nothing called wisdom behind it. It's an explosion which led to all of this system that we see. But the question is, what does Islam say? How do we come to believe God exists? What is our reasoning? Tonight, we want to go to the ocean of Abdul al-Hussain to see how Imam Hussain alayhi salam in this dua known as Dua-e-Arafa, how did he taught us to strengthen our faith and to also come to the conclusion that yes, indeed, God exists. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and this part that we read as a question that he posted. But I'm going to be frank with you, brothers and sisters. That sentence of Imam Hussain is about Tawheed. But that Tawheed is way beyond my understanding. That Tawheed that Imam Hussain is talking about is higher than my level and our level. It's talking about way higher there. However, we're going to try to break it down in our level so that maybe we might understand something from those golden saying of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, this paragraph, he started with a question. Mata غبت حتى تحتاج إلى دليل يدل عليك. When did you, Allah, became absent, hidden, non-existence, for someone to teach or guide to you? It's a question Imam Hussain is asking. When have Allah ever been absent? Now, let me give you an example. If you go to, or you come to Idara, and you want to know a trustee, or you want to know a caretaker, or you want to know someone, if the person is already there, would you need to ask someone, where is the president of Idara? When you're sitting there? No, you don't need to. When do you need to ask, where is such person? When he is absent. When we ask, does God exist? Imam Hussain said, this question is irrelevant. You should not even ask that question. Why? Because he's right there in front of you. Not only is in front of you, he is within your body too. So why do you ask, where is God? How can I prove God exists when he is within yourself and within your body? That's the meaning. Mata ghibt. When did you become absent? Since somebody else have to lead to your existence. He said, never, it never happened. And he said, not only that, وَمَتَى بَعُدْتَ. When did you, Allah, became further away, distant? When did you become away, gone, remote? متى بعدت حتى تكون الآثار هي التي تدل عليك. When did you become further away? To need things that you created to lead to your existence. Then Imam Hussain said something powerful. أميت عين لا تراك عليها رقيبا. He who doesn't see you is really a blind. Who do we call blind? A person who cannot see. Imam Hussain alayhi salam said, a blind is not a person who cannot see. The true blind is a person who failed to see Allah in his presence when Allah is with him. That's a blind person. And he said, وَخَسِّرَتْ صَفْقَةَ عَبْدٍ. In a transaction that you do with human being, with anyone, لَمْ تَجْعَلْ لَهُ مِنْ حُبِّكَ نَصِيبًا. But there is no love of Allah in that transaction. He said, that is a great loss. Any action you do, not for Allah, not meant for Allah, is always subjected to rejection. That is Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Now, I want you to pay attention to the first part. متى غبت فتحتاج إلى دليل يدل عليك. What does it mean? Imam Hussain alayhi salam, what does it mean that Allah has never been absent? Before you understand this paragraph, let me take you to ilm al-nafs. What did the scholar say? And tonight, it's a very important night. And the topic, I believe, is the most important topic too. And I want especially our youth to open our mind and heart to understand this from Imam Hussain alayhi salam to the best of our ability. Our ulama, what did they say about nafs? When Allah created human being, Allah created something called nafs. This nafs is the most powerful miracle that Allah put in human being. Aql is great. Ruh is great. Body is great. But nafs is unique. Number one, this nafs, because of the importance of this nafs, in Surah Al-Shams, when Allah talks about nafs, Allah presented swearing one after the other. But have you know that no ever anywhere in the Quran Allah ever swore, and anywhere in the Quran as much as in Surah Ash-Shams? Allah swears in the Quran in many places. Sometimes one time, sometimes twice, sometimes 3 times, sometimes 4 times. But there is never a place in the Quran where Allah presented almost 17 swearings to talk about something. Never. Except in one case. And it's called nafs. Again, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever He swears with makhluqat, His creation. وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ وَالسَّمَاء وَالْأَرْض. Allah doesn't swear by Himself. But when Allah came to talk about nafs, not only He swore by the creation, He also swore by the Creator, which is first in the history of Quran. All of this to talk about what? Talk about nafs. And He says, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. Tonight, before we get to the first paragraph of Imam Hussain, understand what this nafs is about. It relates to the verse or the chapter of Imam Hussain in this. Nafs that Allah created, Allah said, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Normally we hear nafs is one soul. But do you know that there's more than that? Nafs as one creation. When Allah created nafs, Allah created 6 rooms within the nafs itself. Nafs, one creation, but it has 6 rooms within it. The more you understand this, you understand the greatness of Allah. The first in the nafs is called al-aql. Al-aql is within the nafs. And the first important, first and foremost, is aql. Now, what is the aql does? Al-aql لمعرفة الحق والباطل. The aql, his job is to tell you, this is right, this is wrong. This is good, this is bad. That's all he does. That's the job of al-aql. Good. The second one, and it's called al-irada. Al-irada, within the aql, what is his job? His job is to work with the aql. When aql decided this is good, this is bad, al-irada helps the aql to decide and make a decision. Go with this because it's good. Don't go with this because it's bad. Aql doesn't decide. Al-irada is what decides for aql. That's within the nafs. That's number 2. Number 3, and it's called ad-damir. Ad-damir is one of the miracles of Allah within the nafs. Ad-damir is another window within the nafs. This damir is a divine mini court within yourself. In your soul, ad-damir is a court system Allah created. In that court of system, there is a judge, there is a prosecutor, there is a prison, there is a lawyer. All in that one nafs is called ad-damir. When you do something wrong, and you know that you do wrong, then what happened? Aql started to play it. Assume you say something bad to someone. I disrespect someone. I get home, I started thinking about it. Good. Then what happened? Then the mahkama, that court called damir, started to activate by itself. Then within that damir start to tell you, you were wrong to disrespect him. Why did you do that? That's not nice of you. How would you feel if somebody did to you? That's the persecutor prosecuting you within your nafs. Good. Then the judge in that dhamir kicks in. You need to go apologize to him. Yourself is telling you, you need to go and apologize. You need to go say you're sorry. That's not nice of you. Good. And then you say, no, I don't feel, no, you have to. That's not a choice, you have to. That's what? Good. Number 3, that is, if you ever do that again, that will be something that you're not going to like it. What do you feel if somebody do that to you? Now, all of this within the dhamir, telling you what you did wrong, how you should resolve it, what do you need to do? Sometimes you even put yourself in the prison. You punish yourself for something that you did. All of this within what we call ad-dhamir, within the nafs. That's number 3. Number 4, it's called al-qalb. Al-qalb is another window Allah created within the nafs. All it does is to take admonition. Somebody says something, it hits you, and then you start to put it to aql. The aql starts to think, yes, he's right. That's something you should do. That's something good. Now, al-qalb and the aql, they work together. First, al-qalb or al-fu'ad, sometimes called al-fu'ad, sometimes it's called al-aql, sometimes called al-qalb. They work together with the aql. Good. That's number 4. Number 5, within the nafs, is called al-hawa. Al-hawa is the bunch of desires Allah created for you. I want to eat. I want to sleep. I want to go to trip. I want to get money. I want to become famous. I want to become teacher. All of this come from where? From what? From what we call al-hawa. Majmu'atul ghara'is, which Quran says, zuyyina linnasi hubbu shahawat. When we created human being, we also gave him, endowed him with what? With a bunch of desires. That is called al-hawa. That's number 5. Number 6, which is the point, is called al-fitra. It's called al-fitra. Now, this fitra within the nafs, when Allah created you, Allah placed His love into that place called al-fitra. Every human being who ever been born or will be born is born with the fitra of loving God. Everyone. Call him Christian, call him Jew, call him atheist, call him agnostic, call him anything you want to. He or she was born and he is filled with the love of God. That's a given from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, but what happened why did we become Christian? Why did they become atheist? What? Ar-Rasulul A'zam sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. He says, يولد كل مولود على الفطرة. Every child is born on the nature of loving God, worshiping God, believing in God. But what changes him? Is إلا أبواه يهودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه. One of the key of the reason of change are the parents. Sometimes, no, not the parents. The society that you live in, you grew up in. Sometimes a person, sometimes influence. But that fitrah is there that Allah created. That's why if somebody ever tells you, I don't believe in God, I don't worship God, that is a word, but in reality they have to worship something. Nobody can live on this earth and not worship something. It's impossible. A person said, I don't believe in God. Yes, you might not believe in God. I'm not serving any God. No. Yes. But guess what? you're serving something called an-nafs, your desires. And Quran says, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Have you seen he or she who took their desires to be their God? They don't worship God, yes, but they have something instead. What is that? They call it what? Desires. Whatever they desire, they serve it, they follow it, they do it. That's called what? Serving your desires. Because Allah, by nature, you cannot live without worshiping anything. When Imam Hussain alayhi salam says, Mata ghibta, when did you become hidden? Talking about what? Al-fitra dhati. Because within yourself, Allah already placed in your fitrah that He exists. He is there and you have it. Why do you need to look around to find Him when He is already in your fitrah? That's the meaning when Imam said Mata ghibta, when did you become absent? When what? We already place Allah already placed Himself and His knowledge in your fitrah. That is why our scholars, when they prove that God exists, they have what they call a Dalilul Fitri. The Fitri reasoning that God exists. Forget about Quran. Forget about Hadith. Your Fitrah tells you God exists. How? They say a Dalilul Fitri. Have you ever been in a plane or sheep or ark and something starts to go wrong? Have you ever been? If you haven't, try it one day. You're in the ship or you are in the plane and something started to happen, the turbulences, right? Allahu Akbar. That's where you hear the names of God you never heard on your life. Everybody, the atheist, the Muslim, the Christians, the agnostic, everyone have a God to call at that point. Who do they call? Who are they calling? Listen. When you fall into danger, your heart automatically looking for what? For someone, some absolute out there to connect with Him for the help that you find in yourself into. That searching, that what you look, that what your heart is looking, is what we call Allah. And this is called a Dalilul Fitri. That is the number one. So if somebody tells you, no, how can God exist? Look at your fitrah. That fitrah indicates about Allah. Let me give you an example. Today, you have Wi-Fi. All right? Good. If you come to Idara and you need the Wi-Fi, good. And you press on your Wi-Fi, what happened? I started to say, to tell you, oh, there is this, Wi-Fi exists. There is this, there is this. Right? What happened? When you click on, your phone started to sell signal to what? To catch that so it can get what? The Wi-Fi in your phone. The same thing when you are in danger, your fitrah started to look for Wi-Fi out there. That Wi-Fi is called what? It's called Allah Rabbul Alameen. And guess one thing? When the fact that your phone is searching for that Wi-Fi, it means there is something out there called Wi-Fi. Because if there is none, there is no reason for your phone to search for something that doesn't exist. When your nafs started to search for God, looking for help out there, that indicates that your nafs, your fitrah, came to know there is a power out there. Call Him Jesus. Call Him Allah, call Him anything. At the end, you believe there is somebody out there who is the supreme power controlling everything. That's what we call Allah Rabbul Alameen. If we can move forward with another salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Another one, the third time for the another salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa That's the first reasoning. Where Imam Hussain alayhi salam, when he says, متى غبت حتى تكون دليل حتى يكون الدليل إليك. When did you become absent? Because you're on the fitrah of human being. Good. The second one, Imam Hussain says, متى بعدت. When did you become far away, remote? حتى تكون الآثار هي الدليل عليك. One of the proof that we have as a Muslims, first of all, you have to understand, as a Muslim, especially in the Shia school of thought, when we reason in anything in Islam, whether it be about Yawm al-Qiyamah, whether it be about Ahl al-Bayt, whether it be about a prophet, or whether it be about Allah is just or not, our reasoning is always between the two things. One is called ad-dalil al-aqli, and the other one is called ad-dalil al-naqli. Al-aqli means logical. Al-naqli from the Quran or hadith of Ahl al-Bayt. Now, tonight, we are not even using the Quran. Put the Quran aside. You think that you're talking to somebody who is absolutely atheist. And then that's where the reason is coming from. Now, so we give you one dalil called dalil fitri. The second one is called dalilul athar, which Imam Hussain said, متى بعدت حتى تكون الآثار هي التي توصل إليك. Al-athar, what does it mean? Dalil al-aqli, that God exists. We believe that sometimes footprints indicate more about something. Footprints also indicate about something. For example, you walk in the desert or in your neighborhood and you see a footprint of a dog. What does it tell you? Dog has passed here. Have you seen a dog? No, I haven't. But how did he come to that conclusion? Because I can see the footprint. Good. Not only that, when you see a smoke out there, what does it tell you? There's a fire. Have you seen the fire? No, I haven't. But how did you come to that conclusion that the smoke is indication of fire? Because there will never be a smoke without a fire. Now, not only that, you are in your house, you're sitting in your room, and then you heard the bell was ringing. What happened? I said, someone is at the door. Did you see him? No, I haven't. Is it a boy or girl? I don't know. How do you know somebody's at the door? The bell. Good. When I go there, how did I come to know that somebody's there? That bell, that sound is an indication that somebody's there. Now, Dalilul Athar, we say we haven't seen God. Good. But looking at you in front of me, tell me there is a creator. Looking at other things, I see a dog, I see a cat, I see a chicken, I see a tree. All of these, they're indicating that there is a God who created these things. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen God. Yes, but seeing those creations is indicating that God exists. That is called Dalilul Athar. And Imam Hussain alayhi salam in this dua, when he says, Mata ba'udta, when have you become remotely far away? Right? Fatakunul Athar. Then the signs around us becomes the reason or proof that you exist. That is number two. Number three, also another dalil. This is called dalil falsafi, logical, philosophical. Now, our scholars, they say dalil falsafi, to prove that God exists, is there two things in this life. Everything that you see, close your eyes, open your eyes, look at everything around you, every creation. There are always two possibilities. One, either that actually created itself or it was created by something else. No more than that. Everything. If you ask yourself, how did I become to this world? Either you say, I created myself, or you say, somebody created me. There's no third one. Good. If you say, I created myself, philosophers say that is impossible. That's a lie. Nothing can ever create itself. Why? So here's the reason. To create something, the creator must be there first when the creation is not there. I'm a father of this child. For me to father this child, I have to exist first when he's not there. Then I can befather him. But I cannot be a father when we were born the same day and then we live in the same time. Doesn't be like that. So if you say, I created myself, that sentence is impossible. Why? Because you say, I was there to create myself. I wasn't there to be created. Doesn't make sense. That one is off. So something cannot create itself. The second option, must be created. Good. Ask everything around you. Ask yourself, how did I become to this existence? Said, my mom and dad. Good. Let's ask mom and dad. Mom and dad, how did you become to this existence? Let's say, my mom and dad. Okay, let's go to mom and dad. Mom and dad, how did he become? The grandparents. Let's say, mom and dad. So, okay, let's go to him too. How did he become to existence? Mom and dad. This has to go to somewhere where it is started at some point without mom and dad. When we go up, where do we stop? To Adam and Hawa. Adam, do you have a mother? He said, no, I don't have one. Adam, do you have a father? He said, no, I don't have one. God, Adam, did you create yourself or you got created? I said, I'm God created. Who? I said, God. I said, okay, now full stop. Done. You want to understand practical of this? Let me give you one practical example. You come to my house, come to Idara, right? I give you water. So this water is so sweet. I said, yes, it's sweet. I know that. Why is it sweet? Because I put the sugar in it. So, oh, why sugar is sweet? No, nobody asked that question. You can ask why water is sweet, because the nature of water not to be sweet. But when I tell you I put the sugar in it, then you're not going to ask me why sugar is sweet, because the nature of the sugar is to be sweet anyway. When I ask you, when you ask me who created what, who, until Adam alayhi salam, when Adam said Allah created me, there is no longer question who created God. That question is absolutely incorrect. Because when you say who created God, now you put the God in the form of creation, not a creator. That God, when you say God, means someone who with him all the creation started and doesn't need anyone to start the creation. That's what's called God. Let me give you an example. Have you been to library? No, not library. They have a bookshelves. Good. If you look at the bookshelves, you see bookshelves, they were set in the way that every book is leaning on another book. Right? One book is leaning on the second one. The second one is leaning on the third one. Fourth, fifth, sixth. At the end, the book, the last book, has to lean on the wood, which doesn't need anything to lean on, so that the other books can lean on it. Because if that wood, which is the shelf, if it needs another thing to lean on, then it has to go to the next one. It has to end somewhere where it doesn't need anyone to lean on. All the leaning is on it, and it's the beginning of everyone. That is what we call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's number two. It's called Dalilul al-Falsafi. Now, number four, which is coming from Imam al-Rida alayhi afdalus salatu wassalam. Which to me is the most logical, better than every logic you can find. An atheist came to Imam al-Rida alayhi salam and he said to him, Yabna Rasulillah, I'm not a believer. I want you to prove to me that God exists. Imam Rida said, okay, I'll prove to you. Okay, I'm listening. He says, you don't believe there is a God, isn't it? He said, yes, I don't believe. But you believe there is a death. He said, yes. We're going to die and leave this world, isn't it? He said, yes. He says, when we die and go to that world, there is only two possibilities. One, either God exists there or he doesn't exist. If he exists, I'm right and you're wrong. If he doesn't, then you're right and I'm wrong. But here's the catch. Assume we go to that world and there's no God. Who is right? You are right. What happened to me? I wasted my time. I prayed. I did Rosa. I read Quran. I went to Ziyara. And all of that is what? It's in vain because there is no God. That's my part. Good. But if we are to go to that world and it happened to be there is a God and he wants you to pray, he wants you to fast, he wants you to go to Hajj, he wants you to do all of that, and you didn't do it, what would you do in that world? I call this question knockout. Imam Rida said, as soon as we get there, there is a God. Either you're right or I'm right. If I'm right and the God expects you to do all of that I'm doing today, and you get there, you can't get back, and you didn't do what he wanted from you, what would be your situation in that world? It's what America, we said, even if you don't want to believe in God, take this rule. Have it and not need it, better than to need it and not have it. You understand the logic? If the weather forecast tells you there will be a rain tomorrow, good. Now, either they're true or they're false. Good. If you're smart, what do? All right, let me take my umbrella. If there is a rain, alhamdulillah, I have it. If there is no rain, I'm not losing anything. At least I prepared. Good. If you don't want to believe that God exists, just take the Imam Ridas with them. At least worship Allah, believe in him. If you got there and God exists and he wants you to pray, yes, I already did it, ya Allah, so I'm good to go. But if you go there believing he doesn't exist and he was there, he wants you to pray and he wants to fast, and you come empty-handed, then you are in a big trouble. Imam Rida alayhi salam, he said, that is my reasoning why you need to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that the last part is about people who believe that this world came to an explosion, which came to all of this and system that we have, all because of one explosion. Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi Abdul salatu wassalam, he proved this point as well during his time. When an atheist came and asked about what is the proof that God exists, Imam alayhi salam told him, I will meet you at some place at this location at this time. Said, okay. Imam intentionally came late. By the time he got there, the atheists were already waiting. When he got there, Imam looked at him. I said, but you're late. He said, yes, I'm late. But you won't believe what happened. I said, what happened? He said, look, I was late because when I came, I need to take a boat. But when I got there, there was no boat. But while I was standing there, from nowhere, I saw wood started coming all over the place. In a matter of seconds, they put themselves together. They became boat. I jumped in and I came here. I said, what? I said, yeah, that's what happened. I said, are you kidding me? I said, no, that's what happened. I said, no. I said, listen, you are not believing that a boat can form itself to take me, to bring me here. But you believe the entire universe and the system that runs day in and day out it created itself. It doesn't have a God. This small creation called boat, you don't believe in it, but the entire system, these galaxies that you have, that you see, and you don't believe that there is a God who created it, who systemized it, and runs under his control and power. The man looked at him and he said to Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. That is where Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam is coming from. Imam Hussain alayhi salam on the day of Ashura, he was teaching us about the existence of God. Every word of Imam Hussain alayhi salam is about God, existence of God. On the day of Ashura, he says, Ilahi taraktu al-khalqa turran fi hawaka wa aytamtu al-iyala likay araka فلو قطعتني إربا إربا لما مالت الفؤاد إلى سواك. In the day of Ashura, Imam Hussain is talking to Allah. My Lord, I came to know that you, my Lord, Ilahi, my Lord, I'm leaving every creation behind because of the love that I have for you. And I'm willing to make my children to become orphans so that I come to see you, Allah. Imam Hussain, when he says likay arak, not to see Allah with these eyes, to see Allah with the heart. Imam Hussain alayhi salam on the day of Ashura, the narrator said when he went to go say goodbye to his family, his sister Kulthum, she looked at him and she said to him, Ya Aba Abdullah, your son Ali al-Asghar, he hasn't tasted water for days. Is there any way that you can get water for him? You know, when we talk about the tragedy of Karbala, every incident on the day of Ashura is tragedy. But some tragedies are worse than the other tragedies. You know, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, he said the worst of what happened on the day of Ashura is the martyrdom of my brother Ali al-Asghar. That hurt us more than anything else. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, after his martyrdom, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, after all what happened, he came back to Medina. After they were released and he came back to Medina, every day a caravan, somebody come from Iraq, the first thing Imam Zain al-Abidin will ask, what happened to the man who killed Ali al-Asghar? He never asked about who killed Imam Hussain alayhi salam. He would always ask, كيف خلفت حرملة? How did you leave Harmala? Is he still there? Is he still alive? If they say, Naam, he's still alive, then Imam Hussain will make a dua, Allahumma adhiq Harmalata harra al-hadid. Ya Allah, let him, Harmala, to taste the pain of iron the way he made my brother taste it on the day of Ashura. Why? Because on the day of Ashura, when Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he took Ali al-Asghar and he brought him, and he was holding him, and all Ali al-Asghar was hoping was a drop of water on his dried lips. That's all he was hoping for. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he looked at them and he said to them, Ya ma'shar al-qawm, you people, if you consider Hussain ibn Ali is a criminal, he is not allowed, he doesn't deserve to drink the water from that river, the water that the dogs and pigs are allowed to drink from, and you're denying the grandson of Rasulullah to drink of it. He said, if you think I don't deserve it, take Ali al-Asghar and give him water and bring him back to me. Some of them, they said, Usquh, give him water. He's a baby, 6 months old. He doesn't deserve this treatment. Then another one said, no, don't give him. He doesn't deserve that water either. while the group started arguing. قوم يقولون اسقوه. Some said, no, give him water. وقوم يقولون لا تسقوه. And others said, no, don't give the baby the water. Then Umar ibn Sa'ad looked at Harmala la'natullahi alayh, and he says, اقتلوا الولد لينتهي النزاع. As I want you to shoot the baby so that the end of that dispute among my army. Harmala la'natullahi alayh, he took the arrow out and he looked at Ali al-Asghar while he was in the arms of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, and he shot Ali al-Asghar. When the arrow came, the arrow hit him. The narration says, فَذَبَحَهُ مِنَ الْوَرِيدِ إِلَى الْوَرِيدِ. He slaughtered him from one Jagulabin to other Jagulabin. Imam Zayn al-Abidin salamullahi alayhi, he said, فَرَأَيْتُ أَخِي, I saw my brother, يُرَفْرِفُ كَالطَّيْرِ الْمَذْبُوحِ. He said, I saw my brother was moving in my father's arm like a bird that was slaughtered but didn't die to rest and no wings to fly from the pain. As Imam Hussain alayhi salam, at that moment, he put his hand under the neck of his son. His hand was filled with the blood, and he said, Ilahi, my Lord, لا يكونن هذا أهون عليك من فصيل. Ya Allah, this blood that was murdered shouldn't be less crime compared to those who killed the camel of Salah and the baby. Imam Hussain alayhi salam threw the blood in the sky. None of the blood came back. And then the second time he put his hand under the neck of Ali al-Asghar. His hand was filled with the blood, but this time he wiped on the face of Ali al-Asghar. As Imam Hussain is saying to Ali al-Akbar, I don't want you to speak to Rasulullah what happened. I'll let the blood talk on behalf of you. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he turned coming back to the tent. The mother of Ali al-Akbar, Ali al-Asghar, she was running towards the mother. هل سقيت ابني ماء وجئتني ببقيته. Have you given my son water and perhaps brought something for me? I cannot tell you, I cannot even imagine the voice of Imam Hussain as he was talking to the mother of Ali al-Asghar. However, he says, خُذِي وَلَدَكِ مَذْبُوحًا. Have your son who has been slaughtered from Jagulavin to other Jagulavin. Imam Hussain alayhi salam, the moment he had the baby to the mother, you know the mother, they have special bond with their children. The moment she took Ali al-Asghar, she said, Bunayya Ali, I wish I knew they would murder you. I would have prepared you better for that, but better than this. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. يا حسين
حسين الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد شهيد الحسين حسين الغريب الغريب الحسين حسين الشهيد شهيد الحسين. Salams on the neck of the 6-month Asghar, Rabab running tent to tent, where is my son? She's screaming, oh people, what have you done? Is it not enough to take make my Akbar come back, oh my darling, come back to your mother. Your cradle still swings in the shadow of arrows. Hussain al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Hussain, Hussain al-Shaheed al-Shaheed al-Hussain, Hussain al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Hussain, Hussain al-Shaheed al-Shaheed al-Hussain. Salams on the head of my baby Asghar. Salams on your parched tongue, oh my son. Your screams and cries piercing through the air, the strength of the three-pronged slicing the air. I threw your blood, but none took heed. The sky turned dark, the earth did bleed. Your tiny hands in silence plead a martyr's tale in sorrow's creed. Hussain al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Hussain, Hussain al-Shaheed Shaheed al-Hussain. The screams of the children thirsty for water, the duty was sent to Abbas, our Savior. The Lion of God could be seen riding faster to reach Al-Furat and to please his Sakina. But how does he fall from the horse with no hands? The flag of Islam laid bare on the sands. Hussain al-Gharib al-Gharib al-Hussain, Hussain al-Shaheed al-Shaheed al-Hussain, Hussain, Hussain,
Hussein, 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 Hussein,
Do you hear Ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aqa Hussain? Do you hear Ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aqa Hussain? Do you hear Ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aqa Hussain? Do you hear Ridan biqada'ihi
on the lips of Aka Hussain.
When he says taqaddam ya Ali,
When he says Taqaddam Ya Ali,
enter the battlefield, do you hear ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aka Hussain? Do you hear
Ridan
biqada'ihi
on the lips of Aka Hussain?
as he hears the call of Al-Qasim?
As he hears the call of Al-Qasim,
Ya Ammu adrikni, do you hear
Ridan biqada'ihi
on the lips of Aka Hussain? Do you hear ridan biqada'ihi
on the lips of Aka Hussain?
when he runs toward Abbas Jari?
When he runs toward Abbas Jari,
As he sees the standard fall, do you hear ridan
biqada'ihi on the lips of Aka Hussain?
Do you
Hear Ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aka Hussain?
as he takes the slaughtered body of, as he takes the slaughtered body of Asghar to Rubab, do you hear ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aka Hussain? Do you hear ridan biqada'ihi
On the lips of Aka Hussain?
as he takes the slaughtered body of, as he takes the
slaughtered body of
Asghar to Rubab, do you hear ridan
biqada'ihi
on the lips of Aka Hussain? Do you hear ridan
biqada'ihi on the lips of Aka Hussain?
when he hears Sakina bewailing? When he hears
Sakina bewailing,
do not leave us, Baba. Do you hear ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aka Hussain? Do you hear ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aka Hussain? Do you hear ridan biqada'ihi on the lips of Aka Hussain? Hussain, Hussain,
Hussain,
Hussain, Hussain.
Hussain, 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 Abbas, ऐ शेर नयस्ताने हैदर, अब्बास देती थी सदा ज़ैनब रोकर, अब्बास ऐ शेर नयस्ताने हैदर, अब्बास क्या इसी दिल के लिए मांगी थी बाबा ने दुआ, आके परदेस में हो जाओगे तुम हमसे जुदा, सोते हो चैन से दरिया के किनारे भैया, क्या सुनाई नहीं देती तुम्हें हल मिन की
کی صدا ابا تنہا ہے کھڑے رن میں سرور عباس اے شیر نیستان حیدر اے میرے شیر جوان اے میرے بھائی ہو کہاں شاک ہے دل پہ میرے تیری جدائی ہو کہاں دیر سے دیتی ہوں بھیا میں دہائی ہو کہاں لٹتی ہے فاطمہ زہرا کی کمائی ہو کہاں ابا خنجر ہے حلقے سرور پر ابا شیر نیستان حیدر کیا اسی دن کے لیے ساتھ بہن تھی آئی آ گئی نیند جو دریا کی ترائی پائی پھر پلٹ کر ہمیں صورت بھی نہیں دکھلائی آ گیا رن سے علم تم نہیں آئے بھائی ابا اور پھٹتا ہے میرا صدمے سے جگر ابا گر کے گھوڑے سے صدا باپ کو اکبر نے جو دی دل برے فاطمہ زہرا کی عجب حالت تھی ہاتھ ملتے تھے کبھی گھاٹ کو تکتے تھے کبھی تھام کر ٹوٹی کمر کہتے تھے فرزند نبی ابا لاؤں کیسے لاش اکبر ابا اے شیر نیستان بھائی کو بھول گئے دھیان نہ بہنوں کا رہا یاد آیا نہ کوئی پائی جو دریا کی ہوا ہائے کس دل سے کیا تم نے گوارا بھیا ہر تماچے پہ سکینہ نے تمہیں یاد کیا ابا جب چھین گئے کانوں سے گوہر ابا حسے چیر نیستان حال شبیر کا اب تو نہیں دیکھا جاتا ہے کمر خم یہیں آنکھوں سے سجھائی دیتا یہ ضعیفی یہ جوان لال کا صدمہ بھیا تھام لو بڑھ کے ذرا ہاتھ تمہیں بھائی کا ابا کھاتے ہیں ٹھوکر پر ٹھوکر
Hussain, 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 Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, we'll have Salat in about 5 minutes.